Good morning. My name is Joanne Wong, and I'm Director of Corporate Services at the Greater New England Minority Supplier Development Council. Thank you so much for taking the time to participate in today's How to Do Business with Connecticut Lottery Corporation. So today we have the team from Connecticut Lottery. We have Jeffrey Yu, Stephen Day, Karen Chambrello, and Marilyn Benjamin and Karen Chambrello, who will provide an overview of the procurement process at the Connecticut Lottery Corporation. We will have a presentation and then we'll open it up to questions at the end. So feel free to just hold on to your questions until the end of the presentation, and you can ask questions to the team directly or put them in the Q&A if needed. Also, we are recording this session and we will be adding this to our G&E MSDC YouTube page. We are asking that if at all possible, just hold your questions until the end. And so if you have a raised hand, just put a pause on that and we will answer questions at the close of the presentation. And now I'd like to turn it over to Jeff, Stephen, Marilyn, and Karen.
Thank you, Joanne. And thank you everyone for sharing your time with us this morning. And of course, thank you, Joanne and G&E, for hosting this session on how to do business with Connecticut Lottery. My name is Jeff Yu. I am the Lottery's Managing Counsel of Legal and Procurement, responsible for the overall management of the Lottery's purchasing department. Joining me today is Stephen, joining me today is the purchasing department, each of whom will individually introduce themselves.
Morning, everyone. My name is Steve Day. I'm the Fiscal Administrative Officer.
Good morning, Marilyn Benjamin, Fiscal Administrative Assistant.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen Chambrello. I'm also a Fiscal Administrative Assistant.
Thank you, Stephen, Karen, Marilyn. Without you, the purchasing department would not run as well as it does. We will, again, as Joanne mentioned, we will answer as many questions as time permits at the end of the session. Of course, feel free to reach out to any one of us after today's session if you have any additional questions. We will provide our contact information at the end of the presentation on the last slide. So let's begin our discussion by getting to know the lottery. The lottery does more than just sell lottery tickets and conduct drawings. It has a president and a board of directors, just like any other corporation. And it is committed to corporate social responsibility initiatives such as promoting responsible gaming and supporting the development of capable and diverse suppliers through organizations like G&E. Big difference between the lottery and other corporations is that the lottery was created by the Connecticut legislature. The lottery's purpose is to generate revenue for Connecticut's general fund, and it has done so for decades through its 2,900 statewide lottery and sports betting retailers. The lottery generally operates independently from government. This quasi-public status makes it different from other Connecticut state agencies. For example, the lottery is not subject to the procurement restrictions that can bind the hands of state agents. While this nimbleness is beneficial, when it comes to helping or buying goods and services, the lottery still believes that all purchases, when possible, result from a competitive process in which vendors vie to obtain Connecticut Lottery's business. The lottery has been giving back to Connecticut for over 50 years. The following slide commemorates the lottery's history from its birth in 1971 through the date of its conversion to a quasi-public corporation in 1996, up until last year when it celebrated its 50th anniversary. Now that you know a little bit more about lottery, we will share with you some helpful tips on becoming a lottery retailer or vendor. Here is a roadmap of the topics we will cover. I will now hand the steering wheel over to Marilyn to take us on our way.
Thank you again for joining us. Our small but very mighty team, procurement team, is right in front of you. What we are going to do today to start it off is to, as Jeff has given you just a very brief overview of the Connecticut Lottery Corporation. So you know a little bit more about Connecticut Lottery than you knew, 10 minutes ago. We would like to know about you and your business. Next slide, please. To be able to do that, we need for you to register your business. Now, many of you attending may be of the mindset, well, you're familiar with us with regard to lottery. A lottery ticket, a scratch-off ticket, those types of commodities. But we are also a brick and mortar corporation. We have light fixtures, we have business cards, we have pens, pencils, we need electricians, we need plumbers, so on and so forth. So those services, products and or services that you may actually offer. We won't know about you until you get into our procurement pipeline, for lack of a better term. So this is where it all begins. Let's help you to register your business with Connecticut Lottery. These are the very simple steps that we welcome you to take part in today after the presentation. You would visit our website, ctlottery.org. There's an area there where you click on About Us. After you do that, very simply, you would go to our procurement section of our website. This is where we lead into our very robust supplier diversity program. Next slide, please. And when I say robust supplier diversity program, it starts from the top. Our president and board of directors are committed to our supplier diversity program. In and of itself, we have a daily, and I emphasize daily commitment here at Connecticut Lottery with the small team that you see in front of you. We make a conscious effort when we are procuring goods and services on a daily basis. We make a conscious effort to ensure that local, small, minority-owned businesses get an opportunity to participate in the procurement process. Quite a bit of our vendor base is within the New England area, so it's right on target for all of you in attendance. But again, think of us as a brick and mortar building that has products and services other than lottery tickets and such. This little diagram will show, this is an exact replica of our website. So when you go to our supplier diversity program, this is what you see, okay? It's an easy online registration. We encourage you to list any specialties that you have. Next slide, please. And this is the second part of, again, just the visual of our website. You can click on to get an idea of the products and services that we might be procuring. And again, it changes week to week, month to month. Special events may require additional products and services that are not necessarily listed. Later on in the presentation, Karen will get a little bit more into the products and services side of this presentation. Here again, this is all part of our diversity program, supplier diversity program, and setting you up to register your business. If you have any certifications from any of the organizations listed here, be sure to include those in your registration. At the bottom, again, this is a pictorial from our website. If you would go to the next screen. And this is where everything happens. Again, We don't know about you until you let us know about you. So basic information, name, address, contact information, where your website information. No worries if you do not have a website. You can send us your capability statement. You can email that to us. What our aim is to find out what products and services you offer, and if sending your capability statement would suffice, that's fine. You can mail us a brochure. Again, we want to know about you and the services and products that you offer. This is where you would go to enter your business information into our procurement portal. Okay, this is all real-time information. At the completion of your registration, an alert will go to this team here in front of you, and one of us will respond, just so that you know your registration has been seen, has been read. We will continue to vet you as a vendor, i.e. again, looking at these services and products that you offer, visiting your website, communicating with you via email if the need presents. Now, folks that are businesses that are registered through our procurement portal are typically, they may be if necessary, they may actually get to know about procurement opportunities a little sooner than the general public. So it's not a bad thing to register your business with us. Now, in doing so, registering doesn't mean that you are that we will automatically commit to doing business with your company. But you know what? I got to tell you, at least you'll be in our pipeline. So we'll have visibility to what you are. Next slide, please. Now, there's a host of takeaways and benefits to our supplier diversity program. Obviously the supply chain sustainability, we're promoting competitive pricing. Again, we love to keep the business, for lack of a better term, in the New England area. Partnerships are important to Connecticut Lottery. This allows for multiple procurement channels, promoting innovation amongst the business community, such as yourselves. And there's a host of other benefits, but as I said at the top of my presentation, we are committed to ensuring a robust and diverse supply base. With that being said, I'm actually going to turn it over to Stephen. He's going to give you a little information on the procurement process. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Marilyn, and I hope to see all of your submissions and inquiries come through to our team here the next day or so. But first, I want to go over with you guys the procurement process here at Connecticut Lottery. First, identify the need. Needs with internal stakeholders, across all departments. Us and collaborate. We see what that need is. Once we establish that need, we go through strategic sourcing, supply chain. There's been issues. We look for ways to work around those issues, market conditions, spend analysis, or location could be a factor in sourcing strategies. Once we do establish those, we go to our supplier selection criteria, and price is not everything. We look at all factors here at the CLC based off of our needs for that specific procurement. Our procurement policy, I identified here two our types of requests. For quote, which we issue if anything's over $7,500. If there's a bigger project, a bigger procurement, a bigger need that the needs, we'll we'll issue a request for proposal. Normally, over $75,000. So over the next few slides here, I'm gonna go over what's included in our request for quote, what's required, and I'll also show you our template looks. So, at the top, you'll see our submission deadline. Need you guys to submit your price proposals, your responses by the date listed. Also, you'll see an officer who would be your direct point of contact for any questions or questions that you may have, and that would be one of us, Karen, Marilyn, or myself. The items, size, specs, mock-ups are part of the procurement. You'll see those as well as packaging, delivery, and terms and conditions. What's required of you? We'll need, a point of contact. In case we need to reach out to you, your pricing, signature, and again, emphasizing the timely submission, making sure that you submit your on time. So, as I mentioned, you'll see here at the top of our request report, you'll see red, list date and time of when you need to submit the submission by. You'll also see the procurement officer listed and their direct phone number and email. Anything you see highlighted in blue would be what you guys fill out and complete and return back to us. And we, the procurement team, provide you with all the necessary information needed ahead of time for our questions to that. See descriptions of items that we need, as specifications, and have fields listed for you to enter. Again, we'll outline everything for you here. Again, mock-ups, specs, into that procurement service. And we'll also have a packaging and delivery section, which would include details of shipping address, where specific details on when we would need the product or service delivered or scheduled by, completed by, whether or not we need partial or complete that information on our RFQ. And most importantly, the name and signature of at your business sign off of. So here's I'll just briefly talk about our request proposal, our RFP. It's a business document announcing or describing a more extensive projects that will be over $75,000 based off of our procurement policy. We issue it, when we issue it, it's organizational needs, or if we need or require additional resources that else may not have at this time. We're looking for recommendations on the service needed or the product needed. That's where we seek you guys for advice. And it's issued, on our website. That's our main source of, where we will, we'll post RFP on our website. It's the main source of, any changes would be made. Find that on our website. In addition to our website, we do post it on CT Source, and then we also reach out to diversity councils and organizations such as yourself. So what's included, they're similar to an RFQ, but there's a lot more that goes into it. Overview of our company, as well as schedule, which I'll put in the next slide. Throughout the certification Scope of work, what it will detail exactly what's needed for that particular procurement, as well as requirements. List on there, myself, my information, and I would be your sole point of contact for that procurement. As well as other submission. And then what's required of you, follow directions. Everything that needs to be submitted, content requirements, such as state certifications, if any, that will all be listed, and when you submit your proposal, make sure all directions include everything that we're asking. So again, the importance of the timeline, we have a questions period where once you receive our RFP, if you have questions on it, they need to be submitted back to LC by the date. Accept any questions past the date. That goes for submission as well. Unfortunately, we can't accept anything past the date, which is critical. That's why it's really important to follow the schedule in our. Now, I would like to hand it over to Karen to go over products and services.
And thank all of you for taking interest in wanting to do business with the Connecticut Lottery. Here are a couple of different products and services that we solicit here at the Connecticut Lottery. Different promotional items, such as Marilyn had mentioned, pens, pencils, coasters, ticket scratchers. These are all different items you might see out at different retailers. When you're getting gas or grabbing a quick coffee, that sort of thing, you may see that. Those are all items that we procure on an ongoing basis. Also with different office supplies, paper, envelopes, that sort of thing. Our business cards, printing materials, we have just recently moved to a new location. So that's something that we're going to be looking at to procure for the entire operation pretty much. Our winter banners, different play slips, custodial items and services, paper towels, hand soap, all those things. Those are things that you may not think of that, like Marilyn mentioned, but those are things that we do procure on an ongoing basis. The larger services like our courier service and things like that, that is something that will go out to RFP. And as Stephen mentioned, in Maryland, you can see that on our website when those solicitations come up. Next slide, please. Here's a couple pictures of the different items that we do procure. Sometimes you might not think of these things, but these are all different items that come across our desk as procurement officers to get different quotes on. So these are things that your company might have the ability to quote for us. Next slide. Our print material, like I said, our business cards, along with different flyers and different types of promotions that we have. We are on an ongoing basis of promoting them and looking for different vendors to do that. Next slide. Our bet slip holders, for any of you who might do the Play 3, Pay 4 or Powerball, those are different items that our retailers have, along with all the acrylic, the dispensers that the tickets are in, and any type of promotional things, or bet slip holders, or things like that. Your acrylic items to put on. Promotional clothing, as Jeff mentioned, 2022 was our 50th anniversary. We procured such a quantity of our 50th anniversary t-shirts that we had to go out to an RFP for that. We procure on an ongoing basis Keno t-shirts for our Keno retailers, t-shirts, just as you can see there on the right, our Connecticut Lottery t-shirt. Those we procure throughout the year. So that's another item that you might not be aware of that we do look for. Okay. I'm gonna now turn it over to Jeff. Jeff.
Bring it home, Karen.
You got it. You got it.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
This morning, we reviewed several important tips on partnering with the lottery, many of which are summarized here. While all of these tips are important, I want to re-emphasize registering your business with the lottery. Additionally, bid on any of our projects, provide services or goods. Be sure you have the resources to fill the order, to stand behind your product. I'm dwindling down. Let's field some questions.